I am going to give you 20 proofs that you are under a magic spell. How am I going to do that? It's very simple. I will give you 20 examples which will prove that what most people believe is the so-called opposite of the truth. What do I mean by the opposite? It's the furthest away belief of the belief that you have. There is, of course, no such thing as an opposite belief. It's very subjective and it depends on what language you're using, but that's how most people define it. They have a belief, and if they hear that there's a belief which is very far away from what they believe, then they call it the opposite. There's, of course, way too much in between and beyond. There cannot be such a thing as an opposite, but it's a very simplistic way to define things. And in this case, that's a good thing. It will be a lot easier for me to explain to you what I'm talking about. Why is it so significant that people believe the opposite of the truth? I'm going to give you 3 examples before the 20 examples of the opposites, which will make it very clear. Example number 1, diets. People switch between different diets. Some people go from being a vegetarian to a vegan, some from keto to carnivore. These are slight changes, and that's how people go through their lives, slightly deviating from their beliefs and ideas. Some people may switch from being a vegetarian to a carnivore. That's a bigger change, but again, it doesn't turn your world upside down. It's not some revelation. Example number 2 is about religions. People switch between different religions throughout their life. Some people convert from Christianity to Islam. They still believe in a God, they read a different book, they may have different morals and values now. They may pray at different times, but overall, again, their world doesn't turn upside down. It's not some mega huge epiphany which completely changes their life. Example number 3 is about the sun. Most people believe that the sun is 93 million miles away. And if scientists would come out tomorrow and say that they made wrong calculations, and it's actually 53 million miles away, which are numbers which we cannot even comprehend. It doesn't really mean anything to us because such a distance is unimaginable to us. People will believe that it's now 53 million miles away, but it doesn't significantly change their life. In this case, it doesn't really change your life whatsoever. You now have a different belief. Okay, so what? You just move on with your life. And of course, most people also believe that we are the ones who are spinning around the sun. The opposite of this would be that the sun is actually very close to us, and that we are the ones that are stationary and the sun is spinning around us. That would be the opposite of what you believed. That would really turn your world upside down. It would be a too significant change for most people to accept, and that's because, this is why I gave you the 3 examples, most people have their beliefs set in stone. They absorbed everything like a sponge as children from their parents, the media, from their teachers, and most of what they believe is never going to change. And that's because if they would realize that what they believed their whole life is actually the opposite of the truth, then it would collapse their world, their life. It's something that's unacceptable to most people, and the reason they created this kind of a system is because if you believe something, and now I, for example, come along, I create a video, and I say to you that what you believe your whole life is actually the opposite of the truth, then I will appear crazy to you. Of course, that's understandable. This is exactly why they created this kind of a system, because anybody who's gonna come along and tell you the actual truth about your life will seem like crazy, and then you will never listen to them. It's a perfect system. Now, let's get to the 20 examples. Example number 1. Raw meat and blood are unhealthy, disgusting and dangerous foods. The opposite is the truth. Raw meat and blood are the healthiest foods for humans. It's the most appetizing and the best ones. There's nothing better than that. And it's the safest foods for us. Of course, as long as it comes from healthy animals. Artificial toxins cannot apply in this case because I'm talking about raw meat in general. Simply the flesh from wild and healthy animals. If you would add artificial toxins, then you would also have to add them to fruits and vegetables, pesticides. I'm talking about the way they are naturally. You see what I'm saying? Most people go through their lives la-di-da-di-da, simply believing, if you would interview them, that raw meat is dangerous, it's disgusting, keep it away from me, when in reality it's what you're naturally supposed to eat. It's what all humans eat in nature. This is how works. That's how magic works. It's when they brainwash you so severely that you believe the opposite of the actual truth, the way it in reality is. And then if anybody comes along and tells you that raw meat is actually the best food for you and that you should be drinking blood, then it sounds as if they are crazy. What are you talking about? No, my whole life I learned that it's the opposite way. But you were lied to. It's false. But it's so hard to actually accept this, because then the brick falls away from the house that you have built. And the house is your reality. And once even more bricks fall apart, your whole life falls apart. The life that you built, which is a lie. And this is unacceptable to most people. Example number 2. The internet was created to connect human beings. The opposite is the truth. The internet was only created to disconnect us. That's the number one reason why the internet was created. There's tons of examples that I can give you. You move away from your family, you go to college, but you still message with your siblings, your parents, on WhatsApp, you video call them, but there's no actual biological, physical, real connection with them anymore. Realistically, you know that you're disconnected from them because of that, but you believe that you can keep in touch through the internet. It's impossible. Children grow up believing that they have friends online. These people don't know you, they don't give a shit about you. They will betray you whenever they can. They are not your friends, but you believe that they are. At the very least, you believe that it's your buddies online, and it's nobody. You have no real natural connections to human beings anymore. You exchange man-made symbols with people online. It's nothing. That's why the internet was created. The future will be that you will be looking at naked human beings on your screen, and you will procreate with them through the screen. Of course you won't in reality, but this is why they created the internet, to completely disconnect you from human beings. It's the only reason. If humans want to create a resistance to anything, some kind of group, they do it online instead of actually gathering in real life. And of course then it's also very easy to see what you're doing. It's you being controlled. It's the that they always dreamed of. Example number 3. Kant